And welcome to the Must See Podcast, Signatures and Finisher Podcast. I'm your host, DS Walk. And before I start, I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. I know I did. And I hope everybody, was with their families because I was. Just like my tag team partner in crime here, Jamie, he was with his family. And I want to say Merry Christmas to him. And glad to see him on a Sunday in which where our Detroit Lions are officially out of the postseason because they suck. But that's for another day.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the Lions too much.
Nah. We don't
If
want to
they're
talk
hiring
about
for a
that.
general manager, not saying I could do it, but I could do it.
I just want healthy players.
I mean, injuries are a part of football. You just that just shows how good your team is. There's a saying: most important player on the team is the backup quarterback. That applies to every position.
Yeah.
Your starters are going to get hurt. Your backup players are where it matters. Look at the Eagles. We come out and we say, "Oh, we don't need any other defensive ends. We're good. We got Muhammad. We're set." What do the Eagles do? They go out and they improve their roster. Now, have the Eagles had the season that they wanted? No, but they constantly try to improve. We sit back and we're like, no, we're all set.
Good.
We're good. We're good. I think that was the quote. We're good. No, you're not. Hutchinson went games without a sack. Muhammad went games without a sack. And they're like, oh, they're both over double digits. Yeah, because they each got like 3 or 4 in one game against really bad teams. I'd rather have one sack game from each of them than to have 4 in one game against the crap team.
Yeah. So that's what we're dealing with today. So with that said, to all Lions fans who out there pissed off, sad about the season didn't go as planned, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, if anybody understands football and watches football, you don't lose both your coordinators, arguably your best lineman next to Sewell, especially right before the season starts. Your lineman's like, hey, I'm retiring. And then you sit out for 8 weeks and, oh, I'm going to come back, but I'm not going to tell you guys I have a grade 3 hamstring strain and still try and come back and pass a physical. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But you're not going to lose both your coordinators and your at worst second best offensive lineman and have a bunch of rookies in there and think that you're going to do something special. Why, again, if you're the head coach and you have to win this game to even keep the chances of you making the playoffs in, why do you start a guy that can't even snap the football? Glasgow, as bad as he is, at least can snap the ball. You put a guy in that could even snap the ball efficiently, and you expect to win the game.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So we do have a surprise news in the world of professional wrestling before we get to AEW's World End pay-per-view. Seth Rollins, who was at the Minnesota Viking Detroit Lions game in Minnesota, and my tag team partner here is so excited to talk about with whatever, man. Just get to it. So Seth Rollins gave us an update on his injury timeline, and he is confident that he'll be ready to go in 3 months. So this is December. Seth Rollins is looking to return in March in time for WrestleMania. In a recent conversation with Jay Moore, Rollins gave an update on his injury and updated that should be able to make a comeback in 3 or 4 months. Don't take our word for it. This is from the man's mouth. I have a few more months left with my shoulder. I had my rotator cuff surgery 8 weeks ago, almost 9 when we're talking right now. So I got another 3 months, 4 months at least. Rollins' schedule indicates that he will be back around the days of WrestleMania 42, which will be held in Las Vegas for the second consecutive year. Nothing less than 17-time champions appearance on the grandest event of all is uncertain as per Dave Meltzer. I did that on purpose because it's Dave Meltzer. That's why I said take it with a grain of salt.
Everybody hates on Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer's just as right about stuff as, Sean Ross Sapp or Chris Van Vliet. He gets just as much right. It's just the problem with Meltzer is he talks more than the rest of those guys. So of course he's going to get more wrong. As far as his match grading system, it's a complete utter pile of trash. Like just scrap the whole thing. How you ever came up with that system to begin with is just stupid. It's a good match. It's a great match. I don't need your 5.5 stars. Like nobody cares. But I think it's a little unfair. Meltzer gets shit on a lot for no
it
reason.
might be a little unfair, but sometimes he brings it on to himself.
Oh, of course he does.
And a lot of times he
Of
don't
course
need
he
to
does.
get shit on. A
I
lot of
mean, nobody ever talks
times,
about Chris Van Vliet, but Van Vliet's more, he likes to do the happy, friendly interviews and things like that. Like, I don't mind it, but
look, Meltzer, Van Fleet, Sean Ross, Rap, all of these guys, it's hidden. Excuse me, it's a hit and miss.
uh-huh.
They'll get it right, they'll get it wrong. Just own it when you get it wrong,
Yeah.
and when you get it right,
Well,
you
especially
got it
when you
right.
work on the dirt sheet type stuff, like people are going to feed you false information just to let you run with it.
Well, yeah,
So, like, you gotta just, hey, if these guys just tell me the wrong thing, they told me the wrong thing. I'm just repeating what I've been told. It's right or it's wrong. It might happen. It might not.
yeah, but but you know with me, man, because I love journalism. I wish these guys would just admit that hey, these guys give us bad info. They cover it up. They don't give us what we want to hear. I kind of, to me, everything don't need to be reported. Everything is not big news.
Well, let's be honest. WWE isn't going to give it to you straight because then you'd see the ineptitude that follows that company. But
Yeah, and look, Tony Khan not gonna get to you straight either. Tony Khan is not gonna let you
oh well,
in
no.
in his mind. I mean, come on, that's journalism 101. They're not going to give you everything you want to know. At the same time, man, I just kind of feel they need to get better sources. So in 3 to 4 months, Seth Rollins will be back.
Yay.
And yeah, and that kind of changes everything in my opinion because now it looks like if he's back in 3 4 months, he's going to be heavily involved in the title picture because he's going to want his rematch.
I'm just
And
wondering if you walked around to 1,000 people and said, "Who's your favorite wrestler?" Or is anybody going to say Seth Rollins? Like, I
yes,
don't know how he's still relevant.
I do believe some wrestling fans do like Seth Rollins.
Like, people are going to run around and you're going to get a ton of Randy Ortons. You're going to get a ton of John Cena right now because it's still riding that wave. But you're going to get a ton of
Roman
Cody's,
Reigns.
Roman. I just
You
don't
don't get
believe
Cody.
you're going to get 100 people that are going to say Roman or that Seth Rollins is their favorite wrestler.
Yeah, I believe so.
And that's why, like, Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins are perfect for each other. It's more about their own hype train than it is anything that they've actually done. Because I just don't think Seth Rollins is that good. Like, he's one of those like Joe Hendry to me. I have accepted the fact that Joe Hendry, there's something about him that people like. I will never understand it. I'm not going to try to understand it. I'm just going to acknowledge there's something about him that people love. Seth Rollins, I can't figure out what that is.
Man, I'm acknowledge that Seth Rollins is the workhorse on Raw. Whether he gets the champion or not,
He's
he's the
not, though.
backbone of that company. To me, it's by default. It's by default because if they really wanted to, let's say, push another superstar on Raw other than Seth Rollins, they would have done that by now. They would have done that.
Well, no,
They
because
have no interest in doing it.
that takes some thinking, and that's one thing Triple H has shown that he can't do is think logically or critically, for that matter. He does whatever's easiest, and Seth Rollins seems to be injured just as often as he's active.
He is,
So
but we
you
also
can't
got
really
to
call him the
know,
workhorse when he's spending so much time on the shelf.
yeah, and the WWE has been pushing the Shield from the time they got to the main roster. From the time they got to the main roster. So this is who they wanted to build this company around. It's kind of like in the NBA, we got our two superstars and we're going to put them on different brands. We're going to build our shows around their skill set, around them. Unfortunately for Seth Rollins, he's a 1B. He's not a 1A. He's not
He's not John Moxley.
He's not John Moxley. He's not
Talk about a
Roman
workhorse.
Reigns.
That's a workhorse.
Well, yeah, we're going to get to John Moxley. He's not Roman Reigns in the sense of he's not a mega superstar. He doesn't have the look of a mega superstar. Seth Rollins is that guy where he will have to outthink you. And yeah, he's going to go above and beyond to make a name for himself. He's going to be his own hype train. He's going to hype himself up. He's going to try to put on top great matches because he knows that he is never going to be the face of the company that he's currently wrestling for. He's always going to be second fiddle no matter what. I mean, with Seth Rollins, he it's like Cody Rhodes came back and passed him up. Roman Reigns, who, my opinion, is kind of on the same level as Seth Rollins, but somehow he elevated past Seth Rollins.
Well, I mean, Seth Rollins did that interview where he talked about almost getting fired in NXT because of his attitude. So that's probably part of what holds him back, is there's still that thought. But again, he's one of those, if you take his theme song away from him, what is there really about Seth Rollins that anybody could get behind? And again, it goes back to what I said months ago. You can tell who they're going to push by their theme song and how much effort they put into their theme song. You take that theme song away from Seth Rollins, you give him something generic. Nothing. Crickets.
Well, no, you take that away from Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins just the same guy he was in the Shield.
That's what I'm saying. That's there's nothing about him. And that goes back to my point that I made months ago of you can tell when they're going to push a guy depending on how their theme music is. And that's why you're seeing certain stars revolt and demand to get old music back and things like that, because you can tell if they don't put any effort into it, they're not going to push you. It's the Jey Uso thing. Once Jey Uso hits the ring, there's nothing left special about him. That's why they have to do an encore of the theme song to keep people hyped, because it's like, oh, he's in the ring now. Now it's time to be let down. Seth Rollins is much the same. It's usually about who Seth Rollins' opponent is. But that's enough about Seth Rollins. Let's talk about people that actually put on arguably the best show of the year.
Okay. So AEW had their World's End pay-per-view. And let me and Jamie tell you guys this. Was it a home run show? No. I don't think AEW going to put on a home run show this past year. They haven't. But
no, All In was really good. Even
it was good, but was it a
show
home
was
run?
really good.
Yeah, it was really good, but it wasn't a Grand Slam home run show. Because you had some matches in there that was like, this should be on Collision. This should have been on Dynamite, but whatever. But their main matches, well, off the chart, was A++ in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I liked the show. The whole card wasn't bad. If it wasn't for the main events, if it wasn't for the main event matches or the semifinals or the Continental Classic, this pay-per-view would probably have been terrible. It would have sucked. But nonetheless, it was a good pay-per-view, very, very good. I really enjoyed the semifinals and the finals of the Continental Classic. The Takeshita and Okada match, I really enjoyed. The Kyle Fletcher and John Moxley match, hands down, was the best match of the night. Probably one of the best matches of the year.
I was ready to go into it to make fun of them because, again, like, you couldn't wrap up the tournament in time to have the finals match only. Now, is that because you just didn't plan it out correctly? Is it because you knew you weren't going to have enough matches, so you wanted to have those? Either way, I was ready to wreck them based on that. But those semifinals matches were some of the best matches on the card. The Moxley-Fletcher match was great. The Takeshita-Okada match was great. So I'm not going to poo-poo those. I wish there was something that was more to them as far as like somebody winning something or getting something, but I'll take it for what it was. They were just great matches. The Okada-Moxley match was good. But like you said, there was a couple matches that didn't really need to be on there.
Yeah, the Darby Allin match didn't need to be on there.
Darby Allin didn't need to be on there. I would even argue the The conglomeration match didn't need to be on there.
No, they didn't.
It was an okay match. I mean, the Orange Cassidy Tony Storm pairing during the match was really good. I enjoyed it,
The
but it
mixed
was
tag,
something
yeah,
you could have done that on Collision.
even better. I would have said they could have done this. The matches that we thought that shouldn't have been on there. It should have been on this one of their 0 hour matches that's air on YouTube because it makes more sense. I didn't
Well, even
need to
some of the
see that.
matches that were on the pre-show, like how'd you not have these guys on the show?
Yeah, I mean you could have done like a switcheroo, but
I mean,
no,
like they've been pushing, Jack Perry pretty hard. So how did you not have the Jet Speed Jurassic Park or Jurassic Express match on there? I mean, Josh Alexander's not doing a whole lot, so I kind of get that, but you think you'd want to get Jack Perry on TV, like on the show, but I don't book it. So
no, we don't. If we did, that would have happened.
yeah, I mean, you're riding this wave of pushing him really hard. You need to make sure that he's on the event itself and not on the pre-show.
Hmm. I
The Chris
just
Statlander Jamie Hayter match was actually pretty good too. I kind of thought Jamie Hayter was going to win, but I'm not
it gave
surprised that she
you
didn't. But
it gave you that feeling that she was. Nah, I don't have no problem with it.
I don't have no problem with it at all. But I just kind of thought that Jamie Hayter was going to win.
I did too. And look, both ladies put on a hell of a match. I'm glad that Statlander won. I'm glad they're actually gonna give her a nice little title run. Don't know when it's gonna end, but it's gonna add some credibility to her title run. And I hope they give her more big matches with some big time women wrestlers. Um, maybe hopefully we'll see her and well, I want to say Britt Baker, but she's not coming back. I want to say Camille, but she's not coming back no time soon. So maybe they can Will
Cameron,
Nightingale, who
Harley Cameron.
Holly Cameron would be nice. We already know that her Mercedes is going to meet up again somewhere down the road. Um, Heck, if they even bring back Thunder Rosa, who's been killing it on her Instagram, wherever she's doing on there, maybe not Thunder Rosa. I'm just throwing it out there. Or Blue Sky, Julia Hart.
I don't know how they're not doing more with Julia Hart. That's still one that just boggles my mind.
Yeah, they got her in a tag team with Blue Sky. I mean, I got no problem with it, but I just kind of think for the longest time when you were pushing her to be a single wrestler and she won the TBS championship, and I know she went away for a long period of time. You bring her back, and now she's in the tag team.
Well, she's like the future of their women's division because Tony Storm ain't going to be around there for a whole lot longer. She's done everything that she can do in AEW. She needs to make the jump. Like it just kind of has to happen for her to accomplish anything. I mean, there's nothing else she can do in AEW. She's put over other people. She's put on the best work of her career so far,
What
and
to
she's going to have to just make the jump.
what
And
to
she
me?
would get treated like absolute royalty going over to WWE at this point.
Well, well to me, I don't think she's gonna go back to WWE because she's been there, and while she was there, they didn't even use her right.
Well, that's because, well, I mean, that you got a perfect template to look at. Look at Cody. Cody was with the company. Cody left, built up his star. They brought him back and instantly top of the company.
Or she could
Multiple
take the John
WrestleMania main
Moxley
events.
route. Well, I kind of
John
think she
Moxley
took.
should be going back too.
I don't think. Well, we already know John definitely ain't going back. That's
I
not
mean,
in.
he probably wouldn't, but he should.
He should, but he won't. I think there's more bad blood there than we know,
Oh, I'm sure there probably is.
and I just don't see
He
it.
should go back because you're basically guaranteed main event spots. They love to push that Shield shit so hard. The third member of the Shield comes back who's a bona fide star from another company at this point. You've got part-timer Roman coming in for matches. You've got Seth versus Moxley that you could run for who knows how long. Moxley's clean now, which means he's going to be coherent in the ring. So you've got good matches there. Seth Rollins is a fine worker. It's the Miz to me. The benefit of the Miz is that he can talk. Seth Rollins isn't even that good of a talker. It's more of like he just got the benefit of being a member of the Shield than anything. Where Moxley can go. There's a reason that you had that guy wrestle twice last night because he's one of your absolute best performers in the ring. Period.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I just think that where Moxley is in his career right now and the type matches he's doing, I don't think it will fit in the WWE system because I think they would try
the matches
to.
he's doing, no, absolutely not. He's
I
doing
think,
almost every match is a hardcore match.
yeah, I think that the WWE would neuter him, just like I think the WWE would neuter Tony Storm.
Well, they
Tony,
would to a certain degree because they're a PG company.
right? And that's why I don't think they will go back. With Tony Storm is playing, I think with Tony Storm, there would be a lot of matches for her. And let's break it like this: Tony Storm, when she is not as big as she is right now. She's not as big as she is right now. Yeah, we lost the picture. She's not as big as she was there previously, but I think being in AEW, she grew into herself. She found who she really is. She found her niche.
Well, it's because they let her
be her.
Do these things that WWE is just not going to let her do. Trust me, if I had my way, I wouldn't watch WWE. But to do this show, we kind of have to watch WWE. I stopped watching WWE years ago when it went to the PG format. Like I told you, I didn't know who the New Day was for years because that was all part of that whole PG thing and everything else. I didn't watch because the stories were terrible. And it's like, I don't need to watch PG wrestling. It's like when you watch those old Batista interviews when they asked Batista about coming back to wrestling, he goes, I'm not going back to do PG storylines and play with dolls. And that's how I felt about watching it. And so I didn't watch for years. I'd watch other stuff, but the only thing that really got me back into watching WWE is sports betting. If I'm going to watch fake sports, I might as well watch wrestling. So that's what got me into watching WWE again. But yeah, I mean, you definitely, to work for that company, especially the more they get involved with Saudi Arabia, the more people are going to get neutered for sure.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I think me and you agree on that Saudi Arabia would be the next ownership of the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about when, it's about it's going to happen. And when it happens, don't be shocked when it happens.
And, you know, everybody in WWE keeps coming to Saudi Arabia's defense. I saw the Seth Rollins thing. Oh, well, you know, we've changed the culture over there. No, you haven't. Well, when we first started going over there, it was nothing but men at the shows. Now there's women at the shows. Yeah, and have you checked them for bruises? Have you seen how many of them had rocks thrown at them in the last day or so? Probably not, because you don't want to know. You just want to take the money and move on. But we're not going to go a whole political show about it. But
no, we ain't gonna do that. So
I mean,
that was
that's just kind of where it comes from.
Yeah, you know, that was our little off-topic conversation right there we had. But nonetheless, let me ask you, what do you think of that promo Jon Moxley cut at the end of his match? It kind of made feel like he was going to face turn. And then the rest of the Death Riders looked at him, and I'm quite sure in their minds, like, is this dude going face?
Oh, he's 100% going to break off. And at this point, he needs to break off. He just needs to fully embrace just being the superstar that he is. Like, he needs to be having those matches. Like the 4-way match last night, he needs to be a part of those matches, because if he's not the individual best wrestler that they have pound for pound in the company, he's top 3 in the company. And he's been at the top of that company. He basically, AEW is Jon Moxley. Moxley is AEW.
Yes,
As
that's
much as
why
I say he should go to WWE and he should to further his star power, but he is AEW and he is bigger than the Death Riders. Like that, he's bringing the benefit to the Death Riders. The Death Riders don't bring a benefit to him at this point. So he should go off on his own, and he should be in those matches with MJF and guys like that. That's where he would make a bigger impact in putting over guys like Kyle Fletcher. I'm not surprised that Moxley won the whole thing last night, but with as much as they've been pushing Fletcher, I was kind of expecting him to get that, especially getting a win over Moxley. Um, but with the match they had last night, I'm expecting a lot more rematches between the two, and maybe that's what they're gearing up with this title for him for. But Moxley needs to be main eventing as much as he can right now, if not to just help push other guys like Takeshita, Fletcher, guys like that. Like they've tried to push Darby Allin. Darby Allin is only so reliable because he's going to get hurt.
Oh yeah,
And
we're
I
gonna talk
mean,
about Darby.
Kyle Fletcher almost broke his neck last night too.
Yeah, he did. Oh, we're
And
gonna
we
talk
didn't see
about
that
Darby
one. Like
because
I keep saying it's going to happen at some point. But like
100%.
last night was a real close call of how he didn't break his neck. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Darby because, in my honest opinion, Darby is the one who messed up the main event scene as we see it right now because of his own personal agenda that he wanted to go climb the mountain. But we'll get to that. I'm not shocked that Moxley won because I kind of felt that he was my second choice. If it wasn't going to be Okada or Takeshi winning, Moxley would be the logical choice. The reason why I'm not shitting on the Continental Classic because it built up stars in this throughout. The Continental Classic made some of the mid card level stars and gave them a recognition, gave them a name. It was able to put them on the map. Kyle Fletcher in this match against Moxley, it just elevated his star.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only thing I can say was that I didn't like the heel versus heel thing, but it's AEW, and you can tell that with their fan base, they was really behind John Moxley. Moxley fans stood out yesterday. So
Well, and that's part of it was planned because there is
yeah,
a face turn coming for
yeah, yeah.
Moxley, and it
Now,
needs to happen, quite honestly, because especially when you have a guy like MJF with the title again, you've got Samoa Joe, you've got MJF, Hangman, and Swerve both kind of fade in and fade out of being a heel, not a heel. You need like a definitive face, so
yeah,
Moxley could fill that role.
yeah. And usually I want to say we are all kind of used to the when the leader cuts a face promo and they're going face and the heel faction watching this, it's kind of like the Vision. They usually will attack their leader, kick him out of the group, kind of like the way they did Brian Danielson when he turned face and he got attacked by Moxley, damn near choked him out, damn near killed him. We didn't see that this time around. We might see it Wednesday or we might see it down the road. We don't know what direction the rest of the Death Riders are going, but I
I
don't.
mean, it could be a full face turn for the whole group. I mean, it
That would
wouldn't be
be.
bad because maybe it'll get Claudio a bigger push to maybe build up something between him and Moxley because Claudio's another one. Like when you talk about guys that should probably be getting title shots over there, he has to be at the top. So
I can't disagree
they
with
might
that.
be pushing the whole faction.
I can't disagree with that.
They might push the whole faction to face. I can't really see them doing that, but if they do, I wouldn't have a problem with it either. Because you have enough heel factions already, especially in AEW.
Yeah, but it's to me, it would make no sense to make all the whole faction of a face. Just in the fact that Pac just came back and he's a heel. He Pac Pac would not make a good face. I mean, I know they tried, but it won't work. Claudio bought into being a heel, and he has done a hell of a job being a heel
Mhm.
after so many years being a face. Marina, she came into her own. I mean, Marina wasn't a face or a heel when she started. I want to say even before she got to the Death Riders, she wasn't a face or a, she was just bad. But now she embraced that heel. Willa Yuta just there.
Yeah, Yuta's always been the one to me. It's like they put him out there and he does a lot of the talking, but it's like you're the guy that doesn't belong in the group.
Yeah, and then you just and then you just added Daniel Garcia. So I can't see Daniel Garcia going back to being face and being irrelevant.
Well, you got to remember it's Tony Khan booking, and he does things on a whim. That's why I'm saying if they're going to move the whole faction to a face, I can see them doing it because Tony Khan does do things on a whim. But I personally, Moxley should be leaving the group. Claudio should be taking over. You
That's what I
know,
want to see.
and that way Claudio starts to put himself into that main event and doing things like that. It's the same when Danielson got out of the group, got jumped out basically. Moxley took over. Moxley was already the face of the company and the star of the company to begin with,
Yeah,
so it was a little bit of a different dynamic, but it kind of keeps that tread going, kind of like the Bullet Club in New Japan. You jump out the old leader.
yeah. So yeah, I would like to see Claudio take a bigger role in being the leader of the Death Riders, or even changing the name of the group. Because I mean, it's man, it's so overused, played out. I don't want to hear that name anymore. Change the theme song, change the group name, and yeah, I'll love to see Claudio take over. Now, the only confusing part about this match is that John Moxley is the new Continental champion,
Mm-hmm.
even though Okada lost. Okada is still the international champion. So he loses the title, but he gains the title.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I thought these titles were unified.
I,
And then you come back and you make the national title, which is kind of like the international championship. You give it to Ricochet. So now you really have three international championships.
this is the part where I will tell you you're a pro wrestling fan. You just need to suspend your belief system that things are going to make sense. As much as we say make it make sense, remember WWE has an undisputed WWE champion, even though there's another champion on the show. And you can't have him not be the undisputed WWE champion because you're not going to bring back a belt that you retired to be replaced with another belt that you're currently using. So make that make sense too.
I can't, because none of this makes
Exactly. So
sense.
at this point, you just have to suspend your belief system and just let them do what they're doing. AEW is going to run into a problem soon that they're going to have too many titles. They're already like trending in that direction. Everybody gets a title. When everybody has a title, they mean nothing.
You know what they should do is that do a brand split. Everyone been calling for you for some years now. This is officially do a brand split. Move the Continental Championship, move the International Championship, move the National Championship, move that to Collision. The Continental Classic Championship will be your major title. The International Championship would be your major secondary title, and the National Championship would be your lower secondary
What I
championship.
say is the exact opposite. Don't do a brand split. Cut off the people that you're not using because that's all it is. Both companies, WWE and AEW, they hold on to talent. They hold on to talent that they know that they're not going to use so that somebody else can't go pick them up. I mean, how many times have we seen WWE now let somebody go for them to go to AEW and become a star? It's happened a few
Yeah,
times now.
yeah. I mean, do you want to count Adam Copeland?
Yeah. I mean, they weren't going to do anything with Edge at that point in WWE anymore. He would have been an enhancement talent.
I think At that point in time, I think he did would have gave him some meaningful matches. I don't think he would be an enhancement talent. I don't think he would have been world champion.
No,
But I think,
that's what I mean is he would have been giving good matches, but he would have been putting over the young guys, and that would have been his only role.
well, I mean, that should be his role.
Right, but Cody needs to be doing that. Beating Edge isn't going to do anything for you unless he has a title. When he's not one of your top guys and he's only putting people over, it's not like you're coming back as a special attraction. Because WWE does not know how to handle special attraction matches either. They're at the absolute worst at it. Bring back Brock Lesnar. Hey, guess what? Brock lost again. Bring back Brock Lesnar. Hey, guess what? Brock Lesnar lost again. Bring back Brock Lesnar. Oh, he beats John Cena for absolutely zero reason whatsoever. Bring back Brock Lesnar. Oh, he lost again. Like, when you bring back a special attraction that all they do is lose, nobody wants to pay to see that anymore.
No, but as we all know, that Brock Lesnar is a special attraction. Even though we hate the fact that every time he wrestles, he loses, but that's who he is. Adam Cole is not a special attraction.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is he would have been there, so beating Edge would not be something special. He would just be out there as basically he's going to win a couple matches here and there, but he's just going to be there to put the young guys over. And if he doesn't have a title or some sort of meaning, it's not going to do anything for him. I mean, when you have John Cena lose to Solo Sikoa and you still don't do anything with Solo Sikoa, you have Austin Theory beat John Cena and do nothing with Austin Theory for years. Like, that's what I mean is like Edge would have just gotten frustrated because he'd be going out there week after week and not accomplishing anything. It's one thing, like, even when Angle talked about it recently and how he was getting frustrated with the lack of push for John Cena when they did that whole thing when Cena got called up. Mm-hmm. And then it started to catch on a little bit. But it's like, I went out there and did this thing for Cena because you guys told me you were going to push him as the next thing, and you're not. And that's kind of where the payoff is for the older guys. Because if you're expected to go out there and lose all the time and enhance these guys and make them look good, they're going out there and doing the job. Then the company behind them doesn't push those guys in return. You're totally discrediting everything that the old guy's doing. It just leads them to get frustrated. Edge is living his best life of the best thing he's going to get being in AEW right now.
Oh, he's living his best life because he gets to partner with his best friend. And, and to me, that was the deal breaker. I mean, you can either stay here, put younger talent over, we'll put a mid card title on you, you'll be in the main event scene, or you can go wrestle with your best friend.
And he chose the best friend. Christian is another perfect example, and this goes back to Vince McMahon. But once they have a thought about you, you have to forcibly change their mind. And you're not going to change their mind while you work there because they control what you do. Christian had to go to TNA and become a star in TNA to go back to WWE to win a world championship in WWE. If he was staying in WWE that whole time, nobody would ever say his name because you would have forgot he even existed.
Right. So again, that was an off-topic conversation. But it makes sense though. It made a lot of sense. Just we're trying to make sense of the tag team match between the Bang Bang Gang and the FTR. Again, a match that wasn't pay-per-view level. I would put it on Dynamite, but
it was a good match, but it was out of place for being on that show.
Nah. You could have even put this on the 0 hour.
I mean, unless, Dax Harwood and Cash got something in their contracts that say that they won't do like show openers. It was a perfectly fine match. Nothing wrong with it. But it felt out of place being on the actual card itself.
It did. And I'm going to ask you, what are they doing with FTR anyway? You put the titles on them, and they really don't have anybody wrestle. I mean, look, they're against the Bang Bang Gang. We all know the Bang Bang Gang is not healthy. We haven't seen Switchblade Jay Wright in so I don't know how long. Haven't seen the other Gun Brother and God knows how long because we know he's injured. I think Jay White is coming back or he is back. Either way, look, it don't matter. Didn't even know the Gun Club was still the Bang Bang game was actually still a game.
Yeah, as far as what's going on with FTR, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense that they have the titles right now. Now that the Young Bucks are kind of back doing their thing and doing the whole face thing, I don't expect them to have the titles for much longer.
I don't see this the part where I expect Edge and Christian to make a reappearance and be a tag team, a true tag team, not the one where hey, one guy's a face, other guy's a heel. Nah, I expect to see
No,
Christian and Edge.
I expect that they're both getting ready to wrap it up, and I would fully expect them to do their final run as a tag team.
Yes, and I expect them to hoping they'll come back soon and enter, put themselves in this tag team conversation because FTR really has nobody. They have nobody.
Mm-mm.
I mean, how many times are we going to see FTR versus the Young Bucks?
Well, yeah, and I don't know how Powerhouse Hobbs and Hook aren't teaming up in wrestling as a tag team.
I don't know either. I think that they'll make a good tag team.
Well,
Or
yeah, you've got like the traditional tag team. You've got the big powerhouse guy and the small quick guy that does the moves. Like you'd have a good dynamic there.
I don't understand how Don Callis. I think he has a tag team in his faction. What's my man Brian
Uh,
Cage?
Cage is hurt though, isn't he?
Is he?
I thought he was.
Let me look that up. But even so, are you telling
Torn
me that?
quad and subsequent complications with his right knee after knee replacement surgery in 2025.
Okay, yeah, I read. I see that now. Okay, but
I was gonna say
still,
I
I mean,
remember seeing something not too long ago about him having issues.
I mean, where's Private Party?
I don't know. Again, it's one of those things like nobody values tag team wrestling. And
I
like I
don't
get it.
understand.
Everybody wants to be the star of the show. Especially when you're in a business like pro wrestling. You're there because you want the spotlight, you want to do stuff like that. So there's not a lot of people, especially nowadays, that say, I want to be a tag team wrestler. It's I want to be a pro wrestler. I want this everything to be on me. I mean, look at even some of the great tag teams. The Dudley Boys. First chance Bubba got, Bubba split off and did his own thing. Edge and Christian, they were individuals before they got together as the Brood, and even then they split off, went and did their own thing. Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, like everybody wants to go off and do their own thing. You're not going to get a tag team like
Road Warriors.
Road Warriors. Yeah, like uh, not counting the personal issues aside, like Animal went off to Japan, but he still did it as the new like Power Warrior, and he got Power Warrior, and then Animal went off to Japan separately, and he had his own tag. But like the Road Warriors, they were basically just known as a tag team. They could sell out megadomes as a tag team. They couldn't do it as individuals.
Yeah, Demolition.
Demolition, but I talking with various members. Axe Smash, traditional tag team.
The Hart Foundation until Bret Hart.
Until Bret, got his star push and he
Yeah,
took off. But
the British
that
Bulldogs and
the British Bulldogs, but Dynamite Kid was a star before that. You don't get a lot of traditional tag teams like the Midnight Express, the Oriental Express, the Rock and Roll Express. Those were like traditional tag teams that they didn't really do a singles thing a whole lot.
Even Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
I just kind of think wrestling right now is in this phase where tag team wrestling don't even matter.
Well, and that's why it's like I would rather both shows just get rid of it. I love tag team wrestling. I'd rather both shows just get rid of it and focus on the singles matches.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, that's what it'll come down to. I mean, how many times me and you sat here and said, "Hey, the Usos, as a team, they're good. The Usos as singles wrestlers, nah, that's not gonna happen." And it seems like every tag team, they want that single push. They want to be a singles champion, which is fine. I mean, I have no problem with it. I mean, if that's what's on your bucket list, that's what you want to be. You want that single push, that's fine. But it just goes. It's just like tag team wrestling is not appreciated. Neither company care for it. Why have a tag team? Why have tag team championships? Why even have tag team matches on TV? Just get, like you say, get rid of the tag team titles. Get rid of all these tag teams. Focus on the singles. And when the time is right, bring back tag team wrestling. But in this day and age, tag team wrestling, it's not wanted.
I mean, my biggest pet peeve with tag team wrestling is when you take two people and just slap them together.
Yes,
Like
yes.
the Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair thing, and I've talked about it on this show before. I hate it. When you have somebody's music hit and they come out and they stand at the top of the ramp, and then the other person's music hits and then they come out and walk out, like that's not a tag team.
No, it's just individuals just being a team.
Like, where's the tag team merch gear? Charlotte and Alexa have the "we're not friends" or whatever, but like that's like the antithesis to the whole tag team. We're not friends, but this is the piece of merch that we're both taking a cut off of. Like, you've got to have, you know, coherent attire. It doesn't have to have matching attire, but coherent attire, something that shows like you're a team. You know, team wears a jersey. You got to have something that kind of identifies you're together. And it's like they don't put any thought into that. Everybody comes out to their own songs, and I hate the whole concept, and that's why it's like just get rid of it because
Yeah,
you don't have actual besides FTR, the Usos, the
the
New
young
Day to
bucks.
a lesser extreme, and bouncing between both companies. You don't have a lot of actual tag teams. You have people that are just thrown together.
No, no. And you can put the young bucks there. They're a tag team. I want to
Yeah,
say
they're
the
an actual
street.
tag team.
Yeah, I want to say the
Street
street
Profits are a
profits,
tag team.
but they're not going to be a tag team.
Yeah, not for much longer.
Yeah, and I want to say Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Champion, but they're not going to be a team too much longer.
Mm-mm.
So it's like, why even bother? And another pet peeve of mine with tag team wrestling, when they do, is that they always make the champion, the world heavyweight champion, and the number one contender into a tag team, and they win the tag team championships, and then they go back to being enemies once they lose the tag team titles. Why even
Mm-hmm.
freaking bother?
It's just
It's like, no, it's all
quality storytelling.
storyline.
There's only like
Nah,
two storylines you can use when you're a tag team wrestler because nobody wants to put any thought into it. It goes back to what I've said before. The Road Warriors could sell out mega stadiums in Japan, 80, 100,000 person stadiums as a tag team main event. There is not a tag team out right now that is actively wrestling that can do that. The only way you would pull that off right now is if you said it was the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian versus the
the
Hardys.
Hardy Boys. Yeah,
That's the only way you'd have any tag team in the world right now sell out an
yeah.
arena.
And this is the Signatures and Finisher podcast. You are joined by the only tag team in the wrestling business that actually gives a damn, DS Walking and No Yeet Jamie. And yes, you are seeing the screen correct. You see No Yeet Jamie. You don't see me.
Oh no,
I've
we see
been,
you. You just look like you're about to start sneezing.
yeah. Well, I can't see myself. I
Okay, well, the picture that it
because
froze on you, it looks like you're about to start sneezing.
I probably was about to sneeze. I was sneeze on all this damn losing I've been seeing on my professional teams. But no, I can't. I'm blacked out. But y'all probably can see me as Jamie has said that I look like I'm about to sneeze.
Either
Um,
that or you're giving the side eye to watching. I can't say Kansas City now because Kansas City is actually eliminated, but you also look like you're giving like the side eye to a officiating call during an NFL game.
nah, I got the finger for that. But yeah, but the show must go on. Um, and remember, make sure you guys like and subscribe to this show. The
Yes, sir.
Let's get to the MJF winning the title. And
Mhm.
Jamie, I'm give me some time to collect my thoughts here. I just want to say that part they got it right. They got it right, MJF, your champion. How we got here, I mean, we got to go all the way back to All In when Adam Page beat John Moxley. And the reason why I want to talk about this all up to this point is because it really don't make any sense to me. Now, I want everybody to understand that I'm not putting all this blame on Tony Khan. Majority of this blame has to go to Darby Allin. And the reason why, because Darby Allin was penciled in to beat John Moxley at All In. Now, ladies and gentlemen, trust me, it's wrestling, it's story. Me and Jamie at no point would ever think that Darby Allin can beat John Moxley in a wrestling match. They was gonna put the title on Darby Allin. Darby Allin decided to go climb Mount Everest. That was his dream. That's what he wanted to do, and that's fine. That's cool. Climb Mount Everest, do your thing. But because he did that, he kind of messed up this story. Because now, it was either going to be Adam Page, or it was going to be my brain just went dead. Who's the top AEW star? Not Kyle Fletcher.
You talking about current top store?
No, yeah. Who we talked about the past show? He's out with an injury.
Oh, Ospreay.
Will Ospreay. Shame on me for forgetting about Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, Heyman Adam Page did not want to win the title at All In. Neither guy didn't want to be champion because they probably felt that per storyline, it wouldn't make sense. Tony Khan had no choice but put on Adam Page. All right, cool. I can live with that. You gave Adam Page probably the worst run as champion. Adam Page had like a somewhat built-in feud with MJF. You put Adam Page over MJF on his title run, only for Adam Page to lose to Samoa Joe at the previous pay-per-view. You changed Samoa Joe heel because you had to make sense of him winning the championship. Fast forward to now, you had Swerve Strickland come back. You had MJF come back. MJF signed his contract, put his name in there. He basically dismantled all his opponents in a promo on AEW Dynamite, which was pretty damn good. He killed all of them. He told them they all sucked, that he was going to win. And he did. But my whole problem, this whole thing is you didn't have to put title on Joe. You could have kept title on Adam Page. You could have had Adam Page versus MJF at World's End. MJF beat Adam Page because it makes sense. They already had a feud. And they went away from it. You could have continued this feud, have MJF beat Adam Page, and you could have did that instead of doing a fatal 4-way.
Yeah, but doing it this way, it gets all four guys relevant in the title picture. As far as MJF, it does make him story-wise look more like a badass because instead of cashing in mid-match, well, I mean they put that whole stipulation you have to give 7 days notice or whatever. Like that cheapens the whole deal. Like, what's the point of winning something like that? Because half the time you win these is to cash in after somebody just won and they're tired and blah blah blah. It does make MJF look like a credible threat when he can cash in and go into a 4-way match and win. Anybody that's watched enough wrestling should have known MJF was going to win about 10 minutes in after he disappeared out of the match completely.
Yes.
That's the first sign of a fatal 4-way or even not as much on a 3-way, but on a 4-way match when one person just disappears out of the match completely, they're going to come back and win.
Yeah.
So you knew pretty early on that he was going to win. It was still a good match. Everybody looked good for the most part. And with MJF having the title, he's got beef with all three guys. So if anything, it gives Tony Khan options. He can run something for a couple of weeks with Page. He can run something a couple of weeks with Swerve. He can run something a couple of weeks with Joe. before they start to hone in on one of those guys or somebody new pops into the picture, which should be Moxley or Fletcher at this point. To start weaving those guys out of the main event picture, because right now you've got like the 3 tendrils that he can attach to, and you use those other ones to start weaving in. You take 2 main event guys, like we talked about before, the whole Paul Heyman thing. This opens up that opportunity for Moxley, Fletcher, really Okada and Takeshita if they wanted to. I don't think they'll go that route. I think they're going to go right into Takeshita Okada's much sooner than later. But
Yes.
it'll open up, it'll keep all those guys relevant to the title picture while still bringing in new guys that you would then push into MJF. Because realistically, for a heel, if you're going to bring a heel into the new year for like a whole new fresh program to start the year, do you have a better option than MJF? Because you need somebody that's going to get on the mic and cut people up, and he's the best they have.
He is. I think he's the only option they have. But the thing is, though, is that you made Samoa Joe look weak, and you made him look really bad. He was only champion for like what, 2-3 weeks, not even a month. You made him look bad.
I think if it was anybody else, it would look bad. The fact that it's Samoa Joe, I don't think anybody cares, because everybody knows like Joe's got a pedigree, he's got a legacy, he's done everything. If it was Adam Page and he had the title for 2 weeks, you'd be like, yeah. If it was Swerve and he had it for 2 weeks, you're like, yeah. Even if it was MJF losing to one of those guys after having it for 2 or 3 weeks, you'd be like, yeah. But Joe, you're like, okay, Joe's going to go do something else.
It just seems like the 2 title runs that Joe had. And listen, I have no problem Joe being the transition champion. He should be. But he just never had a credible run his 2 times as being AEW champion.
I mean, that's also true. There's nothing I can really say to that, because he should have one good storied run in him at least, because he never really got that opportunity in WWE. He's always going to be known as just a TNA guy unless you give him a pretty historic run. And I'm not saying historic is in length, but like the matches he's having, the opponents he goes against, even a signature match of like, you go back and you think of Samoa Joe, you're not thinking of Samoa Joe and TNA, you're thinking of that match he had in AEW. If I'm Joe, that's kind of what I'm going for. I don't necessarily need the title, but I need the match that people say that I could still go when I got old.
Yeah. It's just, to me, I feel bad for Joe. But at the same time, I look at Joe and like, man, Joe can go feud with anybody. It'd be like one of those things where it didn't even happen.
I think putting the title on Joe was just strictly shock value. Just to, it's the same thing that I said a few weeks ago about the Cody Aleister Black thing. You're openly admitting that, hey, we're telling the fans, flat out telling the fans, we're going to change SmackDown. We're going to make it better. First thing you could do is shock the fans to make them want to watch. Have Aleister Black beat Cody. Take the chessboard and just flip it over. Start new. Have Aleister Black win. You could do a lot worse than Aleister Black. He's got a mouthpiece now. That's the only part that he's deficient in his entire wrestling persona, is that he's not a talker. He's got his wife now. She could do all the talking for him. You could have started off, have a program build to start a fresh program for January. Could have had him running with the belt, but they play everything safe because they know they're WWE and people are going to watch regardless, no matter how bad it is.
Yeah.
You've got USA openly demanding that Joe Hendry gets moved to SmackDown. Like, I don't know if you saw that report, but they're basically making the demand of, you're going to put Joe Hendry on SmackDown, because they know that there's nobody on that show worth watching.
Then what they need to do is make a demand of, hey, fix this creative bull and let's get to business. Let's get to work. Fix this creative, or you guys, we could just go ahead and end our partnership. But we talked about that.
But as far as Joe only having it for a couple weeks, he was the safest one where it's not going to do any long-term damage. Where again, if Paige would have had it for 2 or 3 weeks, you're setting them in a position to look weak. Any of those guys going for 2 or 3 weeks as champ, they're going to look weak. Joe, it's just kind of like it is what it is. We're going to have him. He's probably still going to, like I said, all three of those guys are probably going to end up feuding together, doing another repeat, not necessarily a four-way match, but probably a couple singles matches, maybe a triple threat with one of those guys getting, taken out or something. But then it opens up Joe to go work with the newer talent. And he's been pretty vocal in the interviews I've seen that those are the guys he wants to work with is the newer people. And I mean,
Yeah.
Swerve's been around for a while. Hangman's been around for a while. MJF's been around for a while. So,
Yeah.
and if you're Tony Khan, you're saying, oh, thank God. I can keep pushing new people. I don't have to worry about making Joe happy. Joe wants to work with the young guys. I'm getting a twofer. I'm accomplishing that and keeping him happy at the same time.
And that's why I like the pairing of him and Hook, because he
Hook? Yeah.
continued to work with Hook. The only thing though that's also concerning mine, I shouldn't be the only thing, is that you talk about how MJF has options. He can wrestle Page, he can wrestle Strickland, or he can go at him and Joe can have some type of feud. The thing that I have is that Adam Page and Swerve Strickland are a team, allegedly. I mean, for
What do you
one,
mean they're a team?
I mean they're a team. They're kind of like they're kind of together. They have
You
this
trying to
pact
say they're
where,
Cowboy Troy?
in a way, yes.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and before you answer that, ladies and gentlemen, if we have a wrestling organization, you're looking for a head writer and a booker, Jamie is available.
okay, now that that's out of the way. Um, I don't see having to. There's no reason that you ever have to put them together. They have really good chemistry in the ring, so I could see why you'd want to put them together. But I think at this point, those two have the ability to have that long-term storytelling that Triple H over on the other side likes to brag about himself as being a master of, that he's absolutely terrible at. Those guys have history already built up, and this leads into a point that I actually want to make separately of this, but I'll get into that in a minute. But these
Mhm.
guys don't have to keep feuding with each other. They can go be a team. But if they're going to be a team, they need to actually represent them as a team. But I don't think that that would do anybody a lot of good. We're advocating for everybody to just get rid of tag team wrestling. They need to go work with other people for a while before that gets brought back to those two, whether one of them wins the world title and then the other one comes stepping back up to them. They need to be off doing their own thing for a bit. Because again, if it turns into a Damian Priest, Aleister Black feud that just doesn't die when everybody's begging for it to be moved on, people are going to get sick of both of them. At this point, you need to be bringing people up. You have those two guys. So back to the Paul Heyman thing. You've got Swerve, who's the main eventer, and you've got Hangman, who's the main eventer. So what do? You go have those two get into a feud with two mid card guys. So Swerve Strickland, Kyle Fletcher not only would be entertaining, they would be great matches, but then you're elevating Kyle Fletcher into that main event picture where people could see him challenging an MJF. Imagine if you got an MJF Kyle Fletcher match.
Oh, that'd be great.
Exactly. That's where that needs to go. Whether it's Swerve, whether it's Hangman Page, I would say Swerve would be the better of the two. Swerve and Fletcher get into it. Now you've elevated Fletcher. At the same time, either Moxley, and I don't, Moxley's already got a title, so I don't say bringing him into the heavyweight title right now would make a lot of sense. But
Nah, keep in mind
putting
the title.
Page realistically going against I would personally like to see Hook get more involved and get a bigger push going forward. So maybe it's a Hook, maybe it's Okada, because at some point you're going to have to put Okada into the main event.
Yeah, he just
But
can't just be there just do tournament wrestling.
yeah, he can't just be that. And they're clearly trying to market him as a star. The only thing holding him back is his English. but
And
he's at
that's
least
why he
got
got a
Callus.
mouthpiece.
Yeah, he's got Callus for that. So maybe you take a break from the Takeshita build and have Paige feud with Okada. That then elevates Okada to the main event. So again, now you've got two more people, and it's that whole philosophy. You keep bringing and elevating your mid carders to main eventers. You give them the shot. If they can't handle it, they get bumped back down. But it gives everybody that opportunity to get there. And if they know how to book, that's what they do. You bring those guys up, give Okada the shot. Him not having very good English could help him be a master heel that he doesn't have to necessarily learn the English part. You only learn the English part when you want to be a babyface, a la Stephanie Vacher, a la Io Sky. Look at
Right.
Julia. Julia's taking English classes, but she ain't showing it on TV. Why? Because she's still a heel.
And they're not even using her.
Exactly.
Even though they came out and said she's gonna be in the
Oh, we
main
have
in the
huge
main
plans
event.
for her. They have
Yeah.
huge plans for everybody that just never come to fruition.
Yeah, the huge plan her huge plan is, hey, you're gonna be drinking a lot of Pepsi in the back and in
Yeah.
catering. No,
You're going to put over Kiana James, who I think has wrestled 2 matches in like a year and a half.
yeah, switcheroo.
Either way, I was thinking about this a couple days ago, and I had to look it up. And I think it was Cage Side Seats that, as I was looking it up, the article came up by them. Jade Cargill has been champ for almost 2 months and hasn't defended the belt once.
No, they've been having her wrestle
Yeah,
mid
BFAB,
card talent.
Michin, everybody, but it's always a non-title match. It's
Yes.
like we need to put her on TV so she stays relevant, but we can't have her defend the title because she's going to get outclassed in the ring, and people are going to call for her to be losing the title. Like, if you know she can't wrestle, don't put a belt on her.
Now, well, I'm going to say this, and it's going to be very unpopular.
Because you're wrong.
I'm right with this one.
What's that?
I can't get. We all know Triple H now is not a good creative guy, and Road Dogg as his head right on SmackDown just even worse. So to me, Jade wrestling, Michin, B-Fab, I have no issue with it. I had no issue because I would rather have them do that than to them put her in the ring with Julia because she will lose.
I mean, you're taking a pile of shit and trying to call it a pie. But to what you're saying, yes. Is it make Jade look a little bit stronger that she's beating up the C team? Sure. But all that means is when Bianca comes back or whoever they decide is the one that's going to beat her, they're basically going to run through Jade like it's nothing.
Yeah,
And
it's
you're not helping. Again, you need to be elevating your talent. There's very few stars. Brock Lesnar's, quite honestly, Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker and Kane to a certain extent are the only real people in the history of the WWE that, by their character design, should they have had the opportunity to run through people. Even Goldberg did not deserve the opportunity to run through people the way he did.
no, he didn't. And remember, Goldberg was more of a liability than he was a wrestler.
100%. And that's the
With
same thing one of my dislikes about Seth Rollins. How many people Seth Rollins hurt? But that's a whole side topic. That's one of my biggest dislikes about him.
yeah,
But
Jay's a little
even
different.
Jade's character, they want to. Everybody thinks she's this giant monster, but what happened when she was tagging with Bianca? They would both flex. You would see Bianca's bigger than Jade is, but yet they're trying to treat Jade like she's some giant, monstrous woman, and she's not.
No, the best thing they ever did for Jay was making her heel. You made it to this heel bully where she's bullying female wrestlers who are less than her, or
BFAB
that.
would beat the shit out of her in a fight,
Yeah, but
like in a straight up
storyline
real
wise,
fight, and that's
yeah,
part of the problem. Is like BFAB actually has a street fighting background, and that's why
yeah,
you can't take it seriously. Like she would
no,
beat the
no,
hell out of Jade Cargill.
no, you can't. But storyline wise, they got her make looking at this. She's a dominant champion, but she's really bullying the C team and the B team. Whereas if she was wrestling a Bianca or Charlotte Flair or Julia, or even to a certain extent, I'm not, I'm about to say this name, Nia Jax. She'll get dominated. She'll be exposed.
Mm-hmm. Well,
That's
and that's the
why,
problem is how long are you going to protect her? Like protecting her all the way through WrestleMania is not going to help her. It's one thing when you say throwing somebody to the sharks, they're either going to fight it off and survive or they're going to get eaten.
yeah,
You've already given this woman 2 years of protection. You put her in with one of the best women that you had in a tag team. And how many miscues, blatant miscues on TV were there? Where Jade was completely out of place, completely out of sync, didn't know if she was the legal person, all happening on TV. Then Bianca gets hurt and she's forced to stand on her own. She still can't do it. Then you're like, well, we're paying her all this money. We got to get something out of her, put the title on her. So you give her a squash match, which made no sense. I was only okay with it because Tiffany had talked about how many injuries she was dealing with at the time. And ever since she got the title, she hasn't defended it one time. Everything's a non-title match.
I will say this. You know, the difference between Jade and a lot of these, except for Tiffany, because I think they're similar, is just that Tiffany is far beyond ahead of Jade, and that's the only thing that concerns me. Jade is still new to the wrestling business. And at some point, we all gonna have to stop using that because Tiffany,
Obafemi's been doing it for 3 years.
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not gonna use Obafemi for example. I'm gonna use Tiffany. Tiffany is still new to the wrestling business.
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany caught on and is far above and beyond Jade Cargo. She is hands down. What Jay's supposed to be is where Tiffany is at. Now we can sit here. We cannot continue to sit here and blame Tony Khan for how he treated or how he developed Jay Cargo. No, we can't because
I'm
you
not
know
going to blame
Jay.
Tony Khan at all for that because
No,
WWE is the one that evaluates the talent. And they were the ones that said, oh, she's going right to the main roster. That's a WWE problem, not an AEW problem.
no, no. But do you know who Jay Cargill works out with and trains with?
I mean,
Ricky Starks,
yeah.
Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
She trains at the Nightmare Factory with QT Marshall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the whole
So
AEW
my thing
squad.
is, if Jay from AEW still looks the same as Jay right now in WWE, and that's concerning. And look, I gave her some credit. She looks a little better as far as she looks comfortable in the ring. Is she still cringy? Yes. Do she need to be wrestle more as a big than I should say an athletic big instead of trying to wrestle like a Liv Morgan where you wrestle some of these smaller women? Yes. And even though she's champion, she can't wrestle everybody. You have to put her in the ring either with someone who's going to make her look really good. That's why me and you agree. She is limited on opponents. That's why she can't wrestle Julia, because Julia would vastly expose her. Now she can wrestle with Bianca because Bianca been in the ring with her. She know what Jade can do. She know how to lead a match with Jade. She's very limited. She can wrestle with Charlotte Flair in the ring because they're both athletic.
Well, all you have to do is there's a reason that she keeps wrestling B-Fab and Meechin because B-Fab and Meechin know how to carry a match. Yeah. They know what they're doing. You can't put anybody in there that is just as experienced or has the same amount of ring time as Jade because it's going to be like two chickens in there without their heads cut off or with their heads cut off, not knowing what to do. Yeah, so that's unfortunately for Meechin and B-Fab, this is their career for the next 6 months, 5 months, 4.5, WrestleMania, whatever. This is what you're stuck doing, is having to carry this woman who basically refuses to get better.
Well, I don't say she refuses to get better.
I'm putting it out there. She basically refuses to get better.
She's gotten better. I don't think she's got better to the point where, all right, they're getting a return on their money. No, she's gotten better because you've been
training at the same place for years, and your skill set has hardly improved to the point that I would say non-existently improved. You need to change the place that you're training.
No, she need yes, true. She needs to take up Booker T's offer and go train with Booker T.
She needs to go and train with Natalia.
Nat-
She needs to go work with Teddy Hart and Tyson Kidd and Natalia.
I agree with that, but I kind of think she needs to go train with. Reason I say Booker T because he put it out there. If Booker T hadn't
Well,
put
it's
it
because
out
he's got
there,
his own promotion that he's trying to get off the ground still.
well, yeah, but still, I mean, it's when it comes down to it, Jay should be in NXT. She should
Oh,
have
you burned the
been,
boat on that one already. So
yeah, she should have went to NXT, not just to learn the WWE system, but just to learn how to be a better wrestler, learn how to cut a better promo. You're gonna work with wrestlers who have the same skill set as you, and you'll be working with again. Take it with a grain of salt. You'll be working with Shawn Michaels. You be at the PC every day. Work on the skill set, your skill set. It's I
yeah.
don't know. I don't see Jay having a lot of matches because there's not a lot of people that can lead her. And that's the reason why I didn't like
No,
her
there's a lot of
match.
people that can lead her. I just think that WWE is at least smart enough to know that whoever you put in the ring with her has the chance of looking really bad because you're going to have to carry her the entire time.
What I mean by leading her, I mean by making her someone look good because it's hard. That's why I didn't like her feud with Tiffany because I felt that Tiffany, number one, Tiffany couldn't lead her to a match where she can make both of them look good. But two, it's hard working with Jade. I mean, when you got two wrestlers who are one is semi green, the other one is so green that she shouldn't be involved in this type of feud. It's hard. It's hard to put on a good
Tiffany
match.
Stratton is the next Liv Morgan. In 2 years, people are going to be talking about how great she is, and there's a very high likelihood Tiffany Stratton will be passing Charlotte Flair's heavyweight or women's title count. As of right now, yeah, she's still super green, but she's proven, which is why they left the belt on her for so long. Unlike
She
Jade,
can
who
run with
didn't
it.
defend it, she can run with it, and she's only going to get better the second time she has it because she's going to know better what to do. Chances are, the second time she gets the belt, she's also going to be a heel, which I don't care what anybody says. Being a heel is a lot easier than being a face
Yeah.
any given day of the week. So if they put her on her as a heel, she's just going to run who knows how far with it. But Jade has to be led around, and she's also known to be really stiff. So that's another problem. Like if you get in the ring with her, you got to prepare to get kicked in the head because she's kicked a lot of people in the head. And not everybody wants to deal with that. I don't see Charlotte Flair going into a match. We've already seen her, trying to get into a fist fight with Nia Jax in the match before.
It didn't work
Jade
out.
kicks her one time. It ain't going to go well for Jade.
No. The one thing positive I can say about Jay about this whole thing is that I hope she takes this all in. I hope she learns. And I hope that when that time comes when she loses the title, that it will make her that much hungrier to get into PC and get better. And not take it seriously, but get better and hone your skill set. And work with someone who is big. You seen, and I know you don't like this guy. You seen how Kevin Nash broke down Raquel Rodriguez, and Rodriguez took his advice to the heart and became a better wrestler than she was before.
I don't have a problem with Kevin Nash. I find his podcast to be hilarious because he's in a position that he doesn't ever have to go back to any of these companies.
No, yeah, that's
So he
true.
could say whatever the hell he wants to say. So you do get very honest opinions out of him. The only time my question is when he talks about click things of, oh, the click didn't do this, click bullshit.
Y'all
Um,
did everything.
yeah. Um, Raquel Rodriguez, him telling her to wrestle like a big, I'm not against because she's not very limber to begin with.
No,
She's not somebody that's going to ever do a Hurricane Rana, but yet she wasn't wrestling like a big. Like Jade, I can see Jade if she got comfortable enough in the ring trying to do a Frankensteiner or something like that. I could see her doing it. But Raquel Rodriguez, she's not
No.
limber like that. So you might as well just embrace being a big and
Right.
wrestle like it.
Right.
Um,
I didn't catch that interview with Kevin Nash talking about how he ran to Jade at the airport. And I missed
I
that part of the
haven't
show.
I haven't watched his podcast or listened to
Yeah.
it in forever. I always just catch little like things that make it to YouTube, like little snippets of something that he's talking about. But um, Jade, if I'm Jade and the type of person I am, if I see somebody like Ricky Saints comes over to the company and he goes to NXT, and then I see somebody like Joe Hendry who's already been at WrestleMania, already been featured in the company multiple times, and he willingly chooses to go to NXT, I'm probably sitting thinking that I screwed up pretty bad, and I'm going to figure out a way that doesn't make my character look terrible, but to put me in NXT because clearly I'm missing something. But that's just how I think about things.
Yeah.
Whether she chooses to do that, if we see her in NXT, I'll give her a ton of slack. I'll back off everything. Whether it was Triple H covering for her when everybody kept asking about when's she going to debut. Oh, she's going to debut when she's good and ready. I think that's because they were putting her through a lot of emergency training. And then, she tried to double down on it. Oh, Triple H knows what's up. I'm going to come out when I'm ready. No, I think you were probably getting a lot of like, wow, this girl's not ready. We need to try and do what we can. But it would say a lot about her if she did put herself back in NXT.
Yeah. Even if she doesn't go to NXT, I still want her to work with someone credible. Like you said, Natty, Teddy Hart,
I
Tyson
say
Kidd.
I say the dungeon because you're getting trained by Natalia, who is a women's wrestler. Women's wrestling is different than men's wrestling. There's certain moves you just never see the women do. So you might as well focus on what you are doing. Once you master your opponents and the type of matches they have, then if you want to mix in some of the guy stuff and learn what the guys are doing, fine. But you might as well learn from basically the women or the woman that has been training all of the women in the last 15 years.
Yeah, that's true. So that was our off-topic conversation. We won't put into on a WWE, but hey, I don't
The
miss
one thing we
opportunity
need to talk about, because we mentioned him so much and we haven't said his name one time on this show, is hats off to Carmelo Hayes.
Ah, yes. Carmelo Hayes, you're a new United States champion. Well deserved. Probably the best Christmas present you can give Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes is going to make a hell of a United States champion. I hope they end the United States Championship Challenge. Let this man have a run with the title. Let him build his star. Let him wrestle some credible opponents. For example, you got Drake Williams. Coincidentally, is now on SmackDown. He's not going to be in the main event scene right away. We know he's going to be a mid-card level challenger. You got to do two things. You can either continue the feud between him and Carmelo, or you can put them boys together. Either way, Carmelo Hayes deserves a good run with the United States Championship. This is probably the best decision that I have seen on SmackDown in a very long time. And they actually, Jamie, I can't believe it. They got it right.
Well, and this is what I was saying earlier when I said I want to get back to this when we were talking about long-term storytelling. You need to set the groundwork now, which they already kind of have with Ilya putting the title on Carmelo himself, that you're going to have a long-standing rivalry that's not a personal rivalry. And that's one thing WWE doesn't ever understand. Not every rivalry has to be personal. It can be strictly professional. And by Ilya just walking away, hey, I got beat. I'm walking away. I'm doing a new thing, this program with this guy over here. And Carmelo, yes, hopefully the tournament ends. You don't need to have every champion doing an open challenge. Like, it's just stupid. But basically setting the stage of this is WrestleMania in 3 years. Because if Ilya and Carmelo are not wrestling each other in 2 to 3 years at WrestleMania for a heavyweight title, this company is screwed.
Oh, 100%.
It just shows that you haven't figured it out and you haven't figured out how to develop the talent the proper way. Braun Breaker is a flash in the pan. He's going to be around because they're going to force him to be around. But when it comes to actual staying star power, it's Ilya and Carmelo.
Oh, 100%. I
That's
mean,
your two
look,
guys.
Brian Breaker's going to be there. Might as well go ahead and say he's going to be a star because they're going to do everything they can to make him a
Yeah,
star.
they're gonna force him to be a
But
star. They're gonna do the same thing with
right,
Roman Reigns. You know.
right, the Roman Reigns of the world, the CM Punks of the world, the Drew McIntyres of the world, the might as well throw in Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes. These guys, their star is not going to be. It's going to come down.
Uh-huh.
Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov, um, Gunther, their star are going to continue to rise. Trick Williams, his star is going to rise. I'm missing one. I think it was Bronson Reed, his star is going to rise. This is your new generation. These are the guys that you should be really put in big time programming. These are the guys are your new main event scene. These are the guys that's going to carry the company for the next 10 to 15 years. Right here, right in front of you. You got to do something with them. You got to build their star up. You have to build them up.
And the long term storytelling, this is like it needs to be like a John Cena, Randy Orton. It doesn't. I'm not saying they need to have like a year long program of just wrestling each other, but it needs to be something that constantly gets touched on. 6 months from now, maybe Ilya wins the Intercontinental title, and you just see Carmelo in the back, and it's a handshake or something. Just little 30-second blips to see that these two are still on each other's radar, and it leads into a heavyweight title match at WrestleMania or one of the big shows, and you keep that going for the length of their careers while they're both still there. That is long term storytelling and how you progress things. Not every single thing needs to be, I need to beat the hell out of this guy because he said something about my mom, or I don't like this guy because I was in a group with him and he hit me in the back with a chair one time. So now I'm going to take this 10 years into the future. Like, it doesn't need to be that. That actually gets rather old when every single story is about, well, this guy hit me with a chair or something like that. Like, need to have some of this guy just wants to be better than this guy. And they don't necessarily have to cheat to do it. They just want to show I'm a better wrestler than you.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie, think about this, and you just hit a long-term booking, long-term story. Ilya Dragunov and Gunther have a built-in story.
Mm-hmm.
Never even finished it. But think about it if in the case of if Gunther becomes world champion
First
in a
person up,
year or
Ilya.
two, Ilya and because they was head down that road before Ilya to Dragunov got hurt. You got a story right there. Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker. You had a story right there. Trick Williams and Bronson Reed. You had a story right there. Everyone who got named all had a story once upon a time down to NXT. Some of them continued to the main roster. Built-in long term booking. There's no way you can mess this up. There's no way you can. Well, this is WWE. They can't always find a way to mess, but you cannot mess this up.
I mean, it's WWE, so they probably will, but
yeah,
at least they're starting Carmelo off on the right foot going into the new year. As far as what they're going to do with Ilya, hopefully it is pushing him up into the main event scene because SmackDown needs it. You're putting a bunch of guys in there, sure. But if Joe Hendry's wrestling for the heavyweight title in 6 months, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a big problem. You got other guys there that have been around way too long that they still haven't done anything with that need to be getting elevated before a Joe Hendry or somebody like that. And let's be honest, Joe Hendry also isn't that young either.
Nah, he's like 30 in his mid-late 30s. If Illinois is not a contender for the championship by the time WrestleMania, they failed them. They failed them. Because on SmackDown, you don't really have anybody there who you can legitimately say, other than Drew McIntyre, they can beat Cody Rhodes. It's so bad that WWE finna revisit Cody versus Roman because they're too damn lazy to build up someone for Cody. I mean, think about this. Ricky Saints finna get called up. Guaranteed he goes to SmackDown.
Well, basically, everybody gets called up needs to go to SmackDown to get that
Yeah.
show off the,
Show off the
off
match.
the monitor.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm always wondering, once he get called up, you got Alien out there, you got Carmella Hayes there, you have Trick Williams there. How would they build these guys up to face Cody Rhodes? You can't build them up and just serve them to him so he can not put them over.
Well, I mean, not that it bothers me in any way, but WWE is hurting Cody Rhodes' character as it stands right now to begin with. You had him go out and he's all big and bad 2 weeks ago that he's Nick Aldis's boss and this and that, and then you make him look like a joke on Friday's show.
Yeah. I always say this though, man, and maybe I'm just looking at this the wrong way. If Cody Rhodes is your top champion, why he's not on Raw and wrestling some of the best competition that he needs to make his title run legit, where you could have just moved CM Punk to SmackDown with the World Heavyweight Championship title and let him wrestle the younger guys because that's what he wants to do anyway.
Because at the end of the day, CM Punk still gets more crowd noise than Cody does.
True.
But by putting Cody is like, okay, we want to put all of our resources into Raw because we want to make Netflix happy so that they give us more money for more shows and yada yada yada. We're limited in what we're going to get with USA. So what is the a big thing that we can give them that's going to keep them off of our backs for an indefinite amount of time? We'll sacrifice and put Cody over there. That way we can keep everything else over here. And that's basically, I'm willing to bet if I could be a fly on the wall that that's how that was decided. Cody's the sacrificial one. We can go put him on SmackDown. That'll keep USA happy. We can keep everybody else over on Raw. So that way we can try and build that up and keep Netflix happy. So that way when we pitch more and more garbage TV shows, Netflix will buy them up.
But think about it. I mean, when the debut of Netflix happened, they personally wanted Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns on that show,
Oh yeah.
right? So you got Roman, who's you can say he bouncing around between Raw and SmackDown. Nah, man, Roman. As long as the Usos on Raw, Roman is on Raw. So if you're trying to do a Cody versus Roman match, would it make sense to move Cody Rhodes to Raw and put CM Punk and LA Knight down to SmackDown, and they can make SmackDown a better show? I mean, AJ Lee is a SmackDown superstar.
If you notice, they don't talk about they'll once in a while they'll say, oh, this person signed to SmackDown. They don't talk about the brand extensions. They don't talk about any of that stuff anymore because now there's billions of dollars being talked about on these network TV deals. If they're negotiating a new deal and the network says, looking at your official roster for SmackDown, I see that we have Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, but I see the rest of your superstar people are on this other show. Well, we're only going to give you X amount of money because we don't have the rights to those people. That's why they don't talk about brand extensions in the Raw brand versus the SmackDown brand, and why you see people willy-nilly jump over. Again, you brought every A-tier person that you had to the first show on Netflix last year. They're going to do the same thing again this year. Why? Because it boosts the numbers. It makes Netflix say, oh, we're getting these great numbers. Look at this mad return that we're getting. But realistically, on the day-to-day, you're not going to have those same people showing up on those shows week in and week out. But for the first show of the year, for the anniversary show, you're going to get all the top-tier people to show up there. But that's why you don't hear the brand extensions and things like that anymore, because when they're negotiating these TV deals, it'd be too easy for the networks to say, well, this person's not there, this person's not there, this person's not there, so this is what we're going to offer you. And
Yeah.
as ESPN has been very vocal / not very vocal, and Netflix has been very vocal / not very vocal, because it comes out, then they try and deny that they said it, these shows aren't getting the ratings that people are buying for, thinking that we're signing this $5 billion deal, we're going to get all these ratings. The ratings aren't giving the returns that people are expecting.
Oh no, they ain't saying it now, but they will soon. Sooner than later, they're gonna be pushing those buttons, and it's not gonna be Triple H's button. They're gonna be pushing some Ari Emanuel's buttons, and then with ESPN, Listen, you've been in business with Ari Emanuel for how long? And he owns the UFC, and you should already know that the man doesn't give you what you want until you press that button, and now you started getting great matches on UFC. I don't watch it, but I hear a lot of people now are pretty much happy with their beginning. So it's just a matter of time till they get to Ari like, hey, this sucks. You need to do something, or we're gonna pull this.
Well, Ari pays attention. I mean, he's claimed that, oh, well, I had to call The Rock in for ticket sales because our ticket sales were low and we sold 10,000 tickets when we added The Rock. No, you didn't, because nobody wants to see The Rock anymore. You might have had a slight boost in the ticket sales, but nobody wants to see a 57-year-old man out there in a Speedo that doesn't have it anymore.
Whoa, 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 whoa. This is why I disagree with you, my guy. We all want to see drunk Rock, like we did last year on the premiere Netflix. We want to see drunk Rock. We don't want to see sober Rock.
Drunk Rock is fine, but I'm saying nobody wants to see him wrestle anymore.
Oh, no.
And after the debacle of John Cena, I don't think they're going to let him get out there anytime soon. Because even Ari Emanuel has to be catching heat from people about how this whole John Cena thing played out. You let The Rock get involved in that whole thing just for The Rock to bow out of it. Then you paraded Travis Scott out there without The Rock to screw that up even more, to then drop the whole thing. Well, before you even drop the whole thing, Travis Scott disappears from it because it's too hard for him. So then you try and soldier on, making John Cena do all this stupid stuff. And then you're like, hey, we're going to reverse course immediately. And then he has to drop the whole thing and try and salvage the rest of his retirement run. If I'm Jericho, if I'm AJ, if I'm any of these guys, I'm looking at this and saying, do I really want to call my retirement here? Like we said before on the show, if I'm AJ, hey, keep me just paired up with Dragon Lee. My contract's up. We'll just part ways. I'm going back to TNA and I'll have my retirement run there. If I'm Jericho, I might just say, fuck it, I'm done. Are you really going to trust Triple H, who knowingly doesn't really like Chris Jericho, to run his retirement run?
Oh,
I
no.
wouldn't.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I mean, you're the biggest star that you've had. And again, if John Cena could have been in the era of Hulk Hogan and they would have went head to head, I'm sure Cena would have been bigger than Hogan. And I'm a product of that Hulk Hogan thing. So I saw how big Hogan was. But if it would have been the same era, Cena would have been bigger than Hogan. Austin, if Austin could have had the same impact that he did when Hogan was just the right guy at the right time, Austin would have been bigger than Hogan if it would have been the same situation. But when you let arguably the biggest guy in the history of your promotion go out the way that Cena did, Cena's going to come out and say, oh, it was great, I loved it, blah, 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 because he's a company guy and he's always going to side with the WWE. That was an absolute unmitigated disaster what they did to him.
I 100% agree. But you know one thing about John Cena, though, is that he will let you know, and he's a company guy. He gives little tidbits on interviews of how.
Oh, he'll drop a phrase here or there for sure. And I'm sure in a year or two after this is all said and done and people realize the dude is done, because when he says he's not wrestling again, I 100% believe he will never, ever wrestle again.
Oh, they made sure of that.
But I'm sure that we'll hear some actual dissatisfaction from the whole deal. Because if I'm him, I would be pissed.
Oh, I think because John Cena is a company guy, he won't tell you how pissed he is. But John Cena at home, I guarantee you he'll tell you how pissed he is.
Oh, yeah. And AJ's the same way. Like, AJ's going to do whatever they ask him to do. But I can tell you he ain't going to be happy about it.
No.
And if I'm AJ, hey, guys, I don't need a retirement tour. Let me just run this thing out with Dragon Lee. And then as soon as that contract's up, I'm signing with TNA, and I'll do my retirement run there.
Yes. Yes, to me, that would make more sense than anything.
And if I'm Jericho, I'm just saying, screw it, I'm retired.
If you anybody who's a former WWE superstar thinking about going back to the company and have a retirement match, don't do it.
The only
Don't do it.
person I could think that Triple H would take the time and effort to get it right with will be Orton, because that's his boy.
I'm even scared of that.
Oh, I'd still be nervous if I'm Randy Orton. Hey, you guys leave me off of TV for months at a time anyway. Let's just say I hung up the boots and I'm done.
Eh, I, if I was a wrestler, I would have no problem with that. Well, that's been our show for today. It was a very good show. It's our off topic. We ended the way we wanted to. And remember, like, subscribe, and share this show. And also remember, if you are looking for a head booker, and if you are looking for a writer, Jamie is available.
You just don't want me to do the show with you anymore. You're just trying to get me like
No,
locked
no,
up
no,
with
no,
one of
no,
these
no, no,
companies
no.
where I get like an NDA or something.
No, 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 Jamie. We're gonna continue to do the show. See, by you being the head writer, I can work under you. We'll come up with good stories. I'm trying to make sure we both get good jobs here. I'm trying to make sure we both get paid for our work. We work
It's
hard,
true.
damn it. So, and I'm advertising you because between you and me, you're the brains. You got the better ideas. I can
I
just
also
make it
have
happen.
no problem working with Vince Russo. So if JCW needs another writer, I'm open.
That's what I'm saying. And you write, I'll book, and good.
Good stuff.
That's right.
All right.
All right.
This
So,
has been a
ladies and
longer
gentlemen,
show. It's
we'll
an hour and
see.
41 minutes.
Yeah, I know. Good show. We'll see you
Was
guys
good.
on Tuesday. Raw is live. Won't be taped. No, Raw will be taped, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'll be the first like non-taped one. I think is the anniversary show.
Yes. So make sure you watch the tape edition of Raw and tape edition of SmackDown, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday. Thank you guys. We're up out of
Later.
here. Later.